Hello everyone, this is going to be part 4 of the budget restoration on my 1983 Honda 185S. I bought this top end kit off eBay for 276 bucks. The link for it will be in my description if you're interested. So now let's open it up and see how it looks. Okay, let's see how the cylinder looks. So here's the piston rings. They look like piston rings to me, so they look okay. Here's the wrist pin. It looks pretty nice. Looks good so far. Here's some valve stem seals. The one, I already did them before, and the heads, so they're pretty new, so I'm not going to do them. Here's the little E-clips for the wrist pin. They look normal. They look like E-clips. I mean, I don't know what to expect about that. But here's the real thing I'm excited about, the cylinder. And it came with a brand new piston. So, here's the cylinder. I'll take the piston out right now and sit over here and then we'll look at it in a minute. But it looks pretty nice. It's 180cc bore, so this would be basically the same size. This is a stock cylinder bore size for a 185S. This engine's actually a 200 engine, so it has a little bigger bore, but I'm not too concerned about that. So now let's look at the piston. Here's the, you can maybe see the crotch hatching. I don't know. It does got some in there though, believe me. It looks nice too. So that's cool. And then here's the piston. It got a little bit of dome to it, which is nice. This will bump my compression up over the flat top piston, and also not having piston slap will be good for my compression as well. So yeah, it looks pretty nice for 276 bucks. I'm happy with it. So now I'll show you the gaskets. Here's the gasket set. It has a brand new head gasket and base gasket in it. It also has new O-rings and seals, so that'll be pretty nice on it. It did come with an extra head gasket and base gasket. I do not know why, but I'll take it. I'm sure I'll use it. So now let's start assembling the engine. Okay, so now I'm going to remove the piece of tape from the breather, just so no dirt would get in it. And I'm also going to remove the rag from where the rod goes, so it won't get no dirt in it either. Now that my crankcase is cleaned out, I'm going to check my connecting rod for any up and down play. Side to side play like this is fine, but you don't want to have any up and down play. To me, it doesn't seem like it has any, which is good, so that means my crankshaft's good. And also you want to turn it to make sure bearings feel okay. So now for rule of thumb for me, when I'm doing like kind of a budget like engine like this, you don't want to dive too deep into it, because if you dive like too deep into it, you'll find something, like, you'll probably find something wrong or that needs replaced. Like, let's say you split the cases and stuff and you find out it needs bearings, then you're going to be spending a lot more money. So if you don't dive deep into it, then you don't know the problems and they don't bother you. So that's the way I look at it. So now that I've determined that my crankshaft is good, I'm going to remove the dowel pins out of the cylinder. So if you look right here, that's the dowel pin, and this, when you're putting the cylinder on, centers it so it's not off center, so it's installed right. There's one down here, and then there's also 3 up here. So I'm just going to remove these, and they pull right out usually. So here's that little dowel pin, and I'll get a rag and wipe it off, just so it's clean, get it somewhat clean. And then here's the new cylinder, and the dowel is right here. Oh, so you guys can't see, sorry. So here's the hole where it was on the other cylinder. I'm just going to push the dowel in. So now I'm going to do that with the other 3. Okay, so now I have to reinstall the O-ring that was on the one dowel. So I looked in my Honda book that I have for the 3-wheeler, and the O-ring goes right here where the black circle is. So I'm going to go in my gasket bag, the bag I have in my gaskets. I'll get the O-ring. I'll try to, at least. I'll probably just end up dumping it out. Okay, I'm pretty sure it's this one right here. So I'll just go swing guys over and I'll check it. So yeah, it seems, I think that's it. I'm 90% sure that it is. They got 2. Yeah, that's it. I know that's the one O-ring. I'm going to double check my Honda book though to make sure there's no more O-rings that I'm forgetting. Okay, so I looked at my Honda book and there's no other spot for that O-ring right here. So I don't know if it's just an extra or what. But I'm sure I'll figure out what it's for eventually. Okay, so now it's time to install the piston on the engine. I'm going to open the little wrist pin right here. Open it up. I got my piston here ready. I got some assembly, like, lube grease stuff. This right here is old. And I also got some motor oil. It got a little bit of Marvel Mist oil in it as well. That won't hurt it. So, alright, so now I'm just going to start assembling. So, I'll time-lapse it. Okay, so now I'm going to install the base gasket on the engine. So I got some of the stuff here. It's called gasket slack, and it's kind of like silicone, like before silicone, as far as I know. So a long time ago, you'd use this stuff when silicone really was, I think, more expensive and didn't exist yet. So I actually kind of like this stuff. It works pretty good. It's like a blackish goo. So you just brush it on. You could just do one side. So I'll just show you on the gasket. So here's my base gasket. And this is the side that'll be down. So I'm going to brush this side with the gasket slack, and the other side, I might do both sides since I had the base gasket blow out on me and I'm paranoid. So you just brush it on, and it goes on like this. So I'm going to goop up the whole thing, and then I'm going to do a time lapse of the cylinder getting put on. So I'll be back after that. Okay, so I thought I'd stop the time lapse and explain a little bit about the piston rings for people that don't know about engines and stuff. If anyone's watching, I don't know. So here's your piston rings. So the little gold waffle shaped one, that's your oil ring. That's part of your oil ring. So this helps so no oil gets to the top of your engine, so it doesn't have blow by, so it doesn't smoke when you're running it. These are the little spacer rings that go in between the oil rings. So it's going to go spacer, the gold part, and then another spacer on the piston. Now, here's your compression rings right here. So notice on, I don't know if the camera will show it. Hopefully it will. Oh, there's your camera. You may be able to. Hold on, let me see if I can zoom in. That'll. Okay, yeah, see on this piston ring how there's an R and a RN on this one? So on a piston, you always want the letters facing up. So the way the ring is designed, they need to be up with the letter. Sometimes if you get cheap ones, they don't have letters, and you kind of gotta figure it out. So that's when it's nice to have a shop manual or something to so you can compare and contrast, so you know which one's the top ring, which one's your which way's up and down. So if I had to take so I'm pretty sure I'm right. Let me compare on my old piston. Show you a bit comparing. So I'm not sure which one with the RN and the R, which one would be my top and bottom ring. So I'll just look at my old piston, and to me, it looks like RN. Here's my old piston, by the way. It's flat top. Anyways, to me, it looks like an RN will be my bottom one, and then R would be my top. So I'm gonna do that. So I'm gonna oil up my ring lands right here, where your rings ride, where they float. I'm just gonna get a little bit of my oil, put in here. Oil it up pretty good too, because you want your rings obviously to be lubed up. You don't want them to be dry, because that wouldn't be good. I'll zoom you guys in, and you guys, I'll probably do time lapse, and you guys can watch me do the rings. Okay, so I forgot to go over something pretty freaking important that you want to check on any engine, whether it be a car, ATV, whatever engine you're doing, that you want to check. I should have remembered, but I forgot. So I took my top ring back off. I'm going to do my second ring as well. I forgot to check my ring end gap. So that's not very good. So I'm going to check it. It should be good, but I'll go over you guys how to check it. Okay, so right now we're looking at, here's the so top ring. This is our gap's going to be one of these numbers in here. So I could go off a 200X, which has a tighter clearance than all the other models, because this book does 200X, 185, 200, 200S, 200ES, 200Es, 200Ms even. They're all the same engines. So, which is nice, but you gotta go off of, I could go off of your 200X or 200, like a 185, well, all the other models pretty much. It really doesn't matter. You don't want your ring to be too tight, because if it's too tight, when the engine gets hot, the ring will touch and it'll actually break your piston. I'll put in an image of a broken piston now. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to look at our numbers over here. So we'll go off like 200X and all other models. So 200X is right where my finger's at. So that's 4 10,000ths to 1 and 8 10,000ths. So 4 10,000ths is like really small. A thickness of a piece of your hair is 3,000ths. So, and then if we go over to all the other models, it's 6 10,000ths to 2,000ths. So right around in there. If we're in there, we're golden. So we'll go over here and we'll check it. So right here, I got what's called a feeler gauge. So this is a precision ground piece of metal, well, pieces of metal that are ground to a certain clearance. So like there's 1,000ths, 2,000ths, 3, 4, 5, 6, but precision ground to a certain thickness, and you can use it to check stuff. So if you look in my cylinder right now, you guys look, there's my piston ring. That's my top ring. So you want to get your piston ring as straight as in there as you can. Usually what you do is you use your piston to push in there a little bit to get straight. I can't do that since my piston's already in the engine since I forgot about doing this. So I just eyeballed it up. It'll be fine. Okay, so now we're going to look at our pieces of metal. And there's, right here, that's 1 and 5 10,000ths. And then right here's, I don't know if you can see it. This is 2,000. Yeah, this is 2,000ths right here. So we'll check it. We'll leave the 2 and the 2.5 thousandths out. So this would technically be the 1 5 10,000ths. That'd be 1.5 thousandths. So what we'll do is we'll check out the 1.5, and we just put the fuel gauge right in the gap, and we want there to be resistance. This one's loose, so we'll go a little bigger. Okay, so yeah, this one's too small, so now we'll check the next one, which is the 2,000ths. And it's still a little too big. So now we're going to check with the 2.5 thousandths. Even that's actually still a little too big. So we'll just keep checking until we get one that's pretty tight in there. So, let's see. Get the 3 thousandths, 5. Okay, so now we'll check it to see if it's 3 thousandths. Okay, and it's still loose in there. So now we'll check it to see if it's 4. Still loose. 5. Okay, so our ring gap's about like 5 thousandths. So that's a little big. Which is technically better than being too tight. If it's too tight, you filed the rings. But these are new rings and they're bigger anyways. Really, it'd be nicer if they were actually smaller and then we could just file, or I could just file them. But yeah, so it's oversized, so our ring gap's bigger than what it should be. So now we're gonna go back over to our book, and here's our wear limit right here. So it's 4,000. So our max limit with the 200 engines, like all the other models, not the 200X, but all the other models, would be, it was 2,000, so it was the biggest. It's like Honda claims it can be, but it can be up to 4,000 bigger. So you can do 2 plus 4, 2,000s plus 4,000s, which would give you 6,000s, and that was 5, so we're still good. Now, it'd be, like I said, it'd be nice if it was tighter. I don't like that they're that loose, but it'll be fine. I'm not too concerned about it. I'd rather them be tighter than, like, too loose. So, really, you'd want it to be about 2,000s, maybe a little bigger. But this is, this was 4,000s, I think. Or, Jesus, I'm never forgetting. 4 or 5,000s, maybe it was 5. Shit. Yeah, I think okay, it must be 5 then. So yeah, this is about like 5,000. We're still in the green. We're just kind of like on the edge of it being a little too big, but that's no big deal. So I'm gonna check the other the other ring. I'll just got some time lapse quick and I'll check it, and I'll let you know I'll let you guys know what I find. Oh my gosh. Alright, so I checked my second ring gap, and it was about 6,000. I would like for it to have been smaller, like actually around like kind of like 2-3,000. I've been really happy with that, but they're a lot bigger than I would have liked. There's nothing wrong with that. Like I said, it's better than it being like too tight, and it being a big problem. But I would have liked for it to be tighter, my ring gap. So that's the only thing I'm complaining about this kit so far. It actually seems like a pretty good kit for 276 bucks. I mean, I'm not complaining. My friend got one on a 185S swap go-kart. He got a 185S engine I gave him, and he put on a full suspension go-kart, which is pretty cool. But he actually used this kit, and it's been running pretty good, and he beats the crap out of that go-kart. It got like 180 pounds of compression, but I would just like my rings to be a little tighter. It's no big deal. Like I said, it's a little better to be on the loose side than the tight side, because they're too tight, they'll actually touch and break the piston. But just like them to have been a little tighter, that's all. But it's no big deal. Okay, so I put my piston rings back on. I really didn't feel like recording that, because you guys always told me to put them back on, and I had to take them back off after I checked it and stuff, so I just didn't record me putting them back on. I didn't feel like there was a need to. I turned my rings, because when you put the engine together, you don't want to have both ring gaps aligned, because that can cause blow-by. So I turned my rings to like a certain position. I just used the diagram online. I'll put it up on the screen now. And I use that to like orient the rings, so I know that it'll give me the best chance of not having blow-by, basically. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the cylinder on, and I'll just time lapse that. That's pretty self-explanatory. It's not too hard, so I'll just time lapse that. Okay, so putting that cylinder on was harder than I thought with a camera kind of in my way. So I turned the camera off, so you guys ain't going to get to see that. But as you can see right now, I did get the cylinder on, but it took me a lot longer than it should have probably. So now what I'm going to do is, this is part of the chain tensioner. I'm going to put this in. This just slides right here. Slides right here. And, oh my, okay. I'll turn the engine quick, hold on. So, while, I don't know if you can see, well, yeah, you can. So, while this slides in, there's this little thing right here. This little notch, yeah, so that sits in there. And then it also sits in the top right here in this little groove. So, and now I'll just lay my timing chain next to it. And then next I'll put the head gasket on. I'll do that quick. And then I also got to put on the other tensioner. That's a bow. So this is it right here. Now this one's a little worn, as you can see, the little marks. I got a new one coming today is Saturday, I believe. Yeah, today's Saturday. And it won't be here till Monday, so I'll have to wait till Monday. And after that, I'll finish recording. So I'll throw the head gasket on quick and show you guys. That's real easy. Try to get out of the freaking bag. But I'll put the head gasket on quick. And then when the tensioner comes Monday, I'll do that. And then it should be good. See, yeah, there we go. Yeah, after that head gasket comes, then, or not head gasket, I'm saying head gasket. When that timing chain tensioner comes, then I can finish assembling the engine, and then I'll be done. So try them, get it maybe. I have to use Chinese gasket. Apparently, this one does not fit. I guess that's good. It came with 2 gaskets then. See how Chinese one fits. Hopefully it does. If it does not fit, then I am screwed. It should though. There we go. Yep. All right, that's good. So yeah, I'll show you guys quick. This is a head gasket I threw on. That's the Chinese one it came with, and then this is the actual one like it came with, and I don't know why it wasn't fitting. I'll show you guys it's all off. This kit technically is supposed to be for see, it's off. It won't line up. It won't line up in this dowel right here. But this kit technically is for I think it was an XL200 or like an XR200. It's the same top end as the 3-lure top end. It fit. And the reason I did this one was because it actually had free shipping. So that's why I did that instead of the actual 3-lure one. Because the 3-lure one had like $25 of shipping. And for the literally exact same kit, I don't see the point of getting something that you can get free shipping for. It's the same versus literally the same thing but has shipping. I think that's dumb. So I didn't do that. So I opted for this option, and so far it's rewarded me pretty good for being cheap. But yeah, so all right. So I'm gonna be done for today. When I get my tensioner Monday, or hopefully like Sunday, Monday-ish, I'll put it on. I'll put my cylinder head on, which is right here. There's a cylinder head. Put that on. There's my flywheel. There's my stator cover. I'll put that on, and then this engine will be finished up. And I'll record that. So see you guys then. Okay, so it's a couple days later. My timing chain tensioner finally arrived. So I'm going to do a time lapse of me installing it. Okay, so I got the timing chain and timing chain tensioner all finally in. So what you saw at the end of the time lapse where I pushed this down, this is the loosest the timing chain tensioner will be. So this will make it easier for me when I put my cylinder head on, and when I'm trying to put my timing chain over the sprocket for the cam. That'll make it maybe not super easy, but make it easier. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a time lapse of me putting the cylinder head on. That should be pretty straightforward, and I'll get back to you guys after that. Okay, so now that I got the cylinder head on, I'm going to put this little bolt in for the timing chain tensioner. So this is what holds the timing chain tensioner to the cylinder head right here. This bolt is going to go right in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a little bit of my assembly lube grease stuff and just put it on the bolt right here. Because right here on this smooth like shaft part, this is where the timing chain tensioner is going to ride. So you want it to be lubed up. So lube it up. I'll put a little bit on threads too. Won't hurt it. And then I'm just going to put it in. So I'll do that quick and I'll get back with you guys. Okay, so I got the bolt in. So what I had to end up doing to get this bolt in was I had to loosen up my timing chain tensioner so this was raised up all the way, so I could actually get the bolt into the little eyelet of the timing chain tensioner. So I just readjusted this. I lowered it back down, just held with my finger and tightened this up. Super easy. Now what I did for the cam, if you guys saw when I was doing the time lapse, when I was putting the head on the time lapse, was I put a zip tie on this so I could fish the timing chain up through the cylinder head. But this zip tie is actually pretty neat. It's a reusable zip tie. So when I'm done with the zip tie, I can just push this and pull it instead of cutting it, and it's actually reusable, which I really like. So what I'm gonna do now quick actually is this special bolt right here. It goes right here. So I'm gonna put that in quick. I'm not gonna torque it yet. I'm just gonna put it in and get snug, and then I'm gonna put my cam in. So I'll just do it on the time lapse quick. Okay, so I know you guys couldn't see much, but I did get the cam in. I had to take it back out quick so I could get it over the timing chain over the cam. And I took the gear off right over here because we're going to time the engine, so I'll show you guys how to do that. Actually, before we time the engine, I'm going to put this stator cover on. So right here's your stator, and this is the cover. I'm actually going to put this on because it will make it a lot easier for you guys to understand how to time the engine. So I'm going to do that quick, and I'll get back with you guys. Okay, so I finally got all that on. That was a little scary. I may or may not have almost stripped out my crankshaft nut, but I didn't. So, yeah, we're good. So, this is why I want to put this on for you guys. So, if you look in here, see the T right here, and there's the F. So, T is top dead center. That's where the piston's at its highest point on the compressor stroke. F is where it fires. So, that's where it's going to fire, where the spark plug's going to fire. So, what we want to do is we want to have our flywheel at that position. And then right here, we want to have our camshaft to where it's not on the, it's about to open the exhaust, but it's, the intake's like closed. So it's, not the base circle of the cam. It's like where the cam's transitioning. So none of the valves will be open. This is where it's going to be like transitioning. So right here is exactly where we want that. So I'll get my sprocket right here. I'll just clean it off quick. That'll take a couple seconds. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this over like so. And I'm going to attempt to walk on my timing chain. So we'll have to, that's going to be interesting. Let's make sure I think my chain's all bound up. Hold on. There we go. Okay, yeah, my chain was bound up. Sorry about that. So, yeah, so I got it now where hopefully it's all unbound up. Get that fuzzle off. And then we're just going to walk we'll make sure we have it in line first. Make sure it's in time. Which it was not. Now it is. So that should be in time. So we're going to walk our timing chain on like so. Like that. And I'll show you. Oh, you guys can't see. Crap, I'm sorry. Okay, there we go. So right here, there's my zip tie. I got the timing chain about roll on. So my zip tie, I was pulling that. There you go. There you go. That's the nice thing about reusable zip ties. I didn't have to cut that. So there we go. So right about here should be in time. So I'm going to put my timing chain bolt in quick. There we go. There we go before. Put these in. And then what I'll do to show you guys, like, what I mean by, like, timing and stuff, I'll put the valve cover on quick, like, not actually on to sit on. And then show you guys that I'm hoping it will, that my marks lining up on the timing chain gear. Or, yeah, the timing chain gear, the cam gear. Make sure it's lined up with the valve cover. And then, yeah, I can put the silicone on the valve cover and be done. So I'll just get these fingers tight. Ain't no biggie to get them all the way tight. So I think you guys can see here. Okay, so yeah, I'm just gonna stick the valve cover on quick. Like I said, this is just to show you guys. So I'm not actually like fully installing it. Yeah, so it's aligned. So I'll get the little screwdriver. Where's that? I may put it back. Hold on a second. Yeah, I did. Okay, that'll do. Okay, so I got my little screwdriver. I'll use this as my pointer. So right in here, so you guys can see. I guess right here is that dot. And it has to be lined up with this, which it is. And make sure our flywheel's on T, which it is. So our engine's timed. It's just that easy. So now what I'm going to do is, I'll throw you guys back in time lapse. I'll put silicone all around here. And then I'll catch up with you guys after that. Okay, I put the silicone on the valve cover, and I torqued the head all. I'll put the photo up of the head torque pattern and torque specs now. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the pulse generator on. I'll put you guys in time lapse for that. Okay, so I got the pulse generator on, which is this, and I also put my intake on quick because that was just 2 bolts. Now I'm going to put the recoil on quick, so I'll just do time lapse again. Okay, so I got the recoil on. I did find out when I was putting my recoil on that my flywheel, I didn't have it on the right. It wasn't completely lined up with the keyway. So I actually had to take it off, and I did get it on right. I double checked my timing, and it was actually off. So I am glad I did that. But I'll show you guys quick. It does pull over, and it does have compression. It pulls over pretty good. Sounds good. So yeah, I'll probably end up doing a short of when I get all ready to run the frame. My frame's right there. I got painted and stuff, which I'm probably gonna do Wednesday with my friends. So once it's done, I'll make a post or a short about it. But yeah, so this engine's all done. You can do this. It is not hard. I'm not the smartest person out there, and I managed to do it. So yeah, I mean, if you have an engine or something that's run bad and smokes and runs like crap, go and get yourself a cheap eBay top end kit or even a nice one. Do it. Just give it a shot. Can't make it really worse. And if you do, you put it on Facebook Marketplace. So, yeah, thanks for watching, and until next time.